Hey there, people. How are ya? Hope you're doing great as always. And today we are here with a special first episode, kind of testing a new thing, and that's a versus battle. Today we are talking two interesting companies in the coffee space, and that's going to be Dutch Brothers and Black Rifle Coffee Company. However, there is already a king of the hill, the mighty Starbucks. So, how about these two new challenger? Does any of them deserve our hard-earned dollars? Let's take a look into this one, shall we? And it's not just the battle of companies, but also the battle of ideologies, because obviously, on one hand, you have Avon Hafer with his military background. Their whole ethos of Black Rifle Coffee is coffee for tough guys and girls, military background for the obviously police enforcer, first responders, all this kind of stuff. And their emphasis on basically the kind of the pure coffee, right? Roasted all the way from the darkest to the lightest. But it's a coffee in the end, right? It's the true stuff. Focus on American spirit, freedom.
There's more. Watch. I bet your truck can't do this. Did you put miniguns on a Tesla?
And then on the other hand, you have Travis Boersma, right, with his laid-back attitude. Just look at these two guys' heads, right? So Dutch Bros is all about kind of a quirkiness and just get your drink, and it's not even that much about coffee, right? Because when we will go a little deeper into the actual products they are making, it's more about those crazy sugary drinks. Check it out. And, well, is there a place for both of them in this whole pie of the American coffee brands? Can they even wedge themselves where basically the Starbucks is having the dominant position? Let's take a look, and let's look at the current king of the hill Starbucks first, shall we? So, first and foremost, Starbucks, the beloved coffee chain of the America, and at this point, the whole freaking world. Well, the company has been here since the 70s, so obviously they had plenty of time to expand, so now they are over 100 billion behemoth. And they have around 33,000 stores, half of that in the US, half of it internationally. And obviously they are basically the reason for the second wave of the coffee culture with all their espressos, cafe lattes, frappuccinos, and as well as pastries and snacks, right? So obviously you start with the coffee, but then you end up with this craziness. And obviously Starbucks is doing so many things right. They are at this point super well established. They have a great connection with their customers, where basically you are having these customer cards, you are getting points or how it works. I didn't look that much into specifics, but basically, at this point Starbucks is basically like a bank, right? Because the people are having so much money on their Starbucks card that Starbucks can basically have that on the balance sheet, use it for different kind of purposes, and there are some interesting videos about that. So they've just had such an interesting economy of scale, obviously, at this point, and they are holding a very firm majority market share, again, in the US and abroad as well. So now the question is, we are having these two new kids on the block, and can they at least wedge themselves into that pie of the market share? Because obviously, if you want to make money as an investor, you don't need those two new kids to grow into the size of Starbucks, which would obviously be an enormous feat. But as long as they can at least get a decent bite from that market share, you might make some decent money. So let's take a look at the contenders. And our first contender is Dutch Bros. It's named like that because it was founded by two brothers, Travis and Dane Boersma, in 92. So meaning they already had quite a time to expand, and they grew to about 470 locations, and they've IPO'd last year in 2021, right? So obviously they went through that little crazy IPO time. But how is the actual company, right? They are having these small, lovely drive-through only shops. So basically what they are kind of going for is this, super fast casual experience on a super small footprint, right? So it doesn't cost them much to establish a location like this, while at the same time having the ability to serve these drinks with a massive markup on a super quick basis, so they can expand relatively quickly, considering that they've been here for decent amount of time, but seems like the expansion is kind of the underway. That's probably one of the reasons why they IPO'd, and they are making these crazy drinks. It's not even, in my opinion, that much about coffee. I mean, just look at the names: Annihilator, Islander, Palm Beach, Double Rain Bro, Strawberry Smoothie, Shark Attack, Freedom, Golden Eagle. Crazy amount of crazy drinks, quirkiness. I mean, there are definitely lots of people that have to love that brand. So, can they attack Starbucks? Can they get meaningful market share? And how about Black Rifle Coffee? Oh, Black Rifle Coffee Company, the youngest troublemaker on the block. This company was only founded in 2014, meaning that's 8 years ago, and they've already IPO'd this year, literally a couple weeks ago. It seems like these guys are hungry, and they already are making quite some waves. They started with basically making these, roasting coffee, kind of the old school, and having it directly sent to customers. That was kind of the way how they started, and they expanded their business. And it's only very recently that they are starting to basically open these shops. They call them outposts, and they are preparing a quick expansion. And compared to Dutch Bros, they are starting on slightly different grounds, right? So these brands are in a sense not directly competing, at least not at the moment, because Black Rifle Coffee is obviously starting expansion in basically kind of places like Texas, Arizona, Nevada, kind of in the central part of the U.S. And obviously with their military background, they are planning a very organized and very quick expansion, right? So, can they catch up to Dutch Bros for 470 location? Because at the moment, Black Rifle Coffee Company has just a handful of them, but they are planning to quickly open them, and that was the reason why they IPO'd and get that proceeds from the IPO, so they can scale up quickly and basically transform themselves from kind of the direct to consumer, just selling these or these, and bring the customers this experience, this immersive experience where they go to their local Black Rifle coffee shop and hopefully buy some merch and have fun. So first, let's take a look at a couple of numbers to kind of get a grasp which of these companies is better value at this very moment, right? Because obviously that's in a sense a little hard to grasp, right? Because basically since Black Rifle Company IPO'd just a couple days ago, they are going through this wild phase, right? They basically the price rose up about 100% from the IPO at its peak, and now it came slightly down, but it's still at about $18 per share compared to 10%, which was the official IPO price. Meaning that obviously these numbers here might change very wildly, but you can kind of get the grasp of the overall size of the company, right? Where you are having a Starbucks as the well-established behemoth. Dutch Bros and Black Rifle Company are, in a sense, comparable to size concerning the market cap. And surprisingly, they are almost comparable by revenue as well, which is surprising, right? Because obviously Dutch Bros has already scaled to 470 locations. However, Black Rifle Coffee has its well-established direct-to-consumer side of the business. So whatever they are coming with now is on top of that, right? So there is a certain level of synergy that Dutch Bros don't have. But at the moment, Dutch Bros is still the one having the upper edge concerning their overall revenue and location, and also just a better price to sales ratio, which is, considering their growth, it's I would say very reasonable valuation. And obviously, with Black Rifle Coffee, the price to sales, it's much trickier to kind of grasp, right? But obviously, that's because Black Rifle Coffee Company is having a revenue growth of 38%, which is quite insane for company of this size, right? Company that's making a physical product. If this was like some kind of a software company, I wouldn't be so surprised. But 38%, that's a huge number. But of course, it's important to know that they are scaling from a relatively small number. Both of those companies are not profitable at the moment, so we are not having really any price to earnings ratio. So, I would say from a quantitative point, those companies are both seem like a relatively reasonable deal, right? Of course, you have to pay attention to the valuation and stock price in the short term, because even though Dutch Bros IPO'd last year, it's still probably quite a volatile during thanks to that IPO process. So I wouldn't be surprised if the valuation came down a little bit. And same for Black Rifle Coffee. I'm very much expecting that once the excitement from the IPO kind of wears off, this might come down to something more reasonable, like let's say 2 billion valuation, where it might be very interesting to start a position. But there are also the qualitative parts that are worth mentioning, right? And here I would like to mention that Black Rifle Coffee is still very much founder-led in the firm hands of Evan Hafer, whereas Dutch Brothers, the CEO Travis kind of stepped down a little bit, even though officially he's still involved with the company, at least kind of as per the official materials. With the IPO process, there is basically a new kind of a CEO, kind of a traditional corporate guy with a great experience. That's definitely worth mentioning. However, obviously, Black Rifle Company has still this fire of being, young company driven by very strong management team, but at the same time, having that we have to prove that we belong here. We have to prove that we deserve this valuation. That's kind of the feel I'm getting from the company. But then at the same time, they basically gave Dutch Bros extra tick mark for the management team because they have an experienced management team compared to Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle Coffee Company, the management team is very new in place since the company is super new and also IPO'd like just recently, whereas Dutch Brother has quite a number of decades under its belt at this point, and basically some of the people from the most upper parts of the management has been with Dutch Brothers, almost since the beginnings, and they know company through and through. So there is definitely kind of systems, procedures, and operations in place. So that's why management gets the tick mark from me. Now let's talk about marketing and loyalty of their customer base, because for this one, I'm giving Black Rifle Coffee the upper hand here. They are doing marketing so well, and I will most likely do a dedicated video about this one. because it's just stunning what they can do. They are making lots of sponsorship for different sportsmen, outdoorsmen, personalities. They are having many different Instagram accounts, a channel on YouTube, because they also see themselves as kind of almost like a news channel slash kind of a meme page, really providing lots of excitement for their customer, not just the drinks themselves, but it's a much more kind of a lifestyle company compared to Dutch Brothers. Dutch Brothers, that's just a place where you get your, well, I wanted to say coffee, but it's more like you get your energy drink or you get your daily portion of sugar. Whereas in the Black Rifle Company, they are really making it a lifestyle. If you drink Black Rifle Company, it means something. You want the world to know what your values are. So marketing, loyalty, that goes to Black Rifle Coffee. And fortunately, I have to give the upper hand considering the vision as well, because with the Black Rifle Coffee Company, when you kind of look at the presentation deck, you very clearly see what they have in mind, the expansion, how they are planning to do it, how many locations, where the expansion is planned. Whereas Dutch Brothers was having little troubles with this part, because they also had basically part of their locations was company held and part was franchises, right? And seems like from this point they only want to have company owned stores. So maybe there was some kind of a problem, or they were just kind of changing this strategy, right? So it seems like they did not really have all the plans in place. So obviously now with all this information in hand, if you would like to invest in one of those, you obviously need to do much deeper research. But if you had to decide only from this kind of information, which of these two guys would make better use of your capital? Let me know in the comments what's your opinion, but I will now share mine. In my humble opinion, I would definitely put my money on Evan Hafer and his team. Seems like the company is just much hungrier, the growth is much faster. I like growth stories, and I firmly believe his team can execute. Even though they are younger, they are really clicking on all 4 cylinders, or how many do they have? The marketing is on point, their customer base is loyal, and the military background, if anybody can make that expansion happen, it's Evan and his team. That's my reasoning, and if the valuation would be right, I would be very much open to opening a position myself. But of course, there are so many companies fighting for our money at this point. So take this as a hypothetical scenario. From these two, I'm choosing Avon. How about you? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, tell your neighbor, this kind of stuff. Please do so. It helps the channel very much, and we can bring you much more if you subscribe. So let's do it. Take care.